ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be setting the stage for another very beautiful segment. Firstly, I'm going to be inviting on stage Mr. Sarang Panchal to please come on the stage. Let's have a huge round of applause.
We're actually knowledge partners with ETH, and I'm just going to spend a few minutes explaining to you what we've done in terms of listing the entire best corporate brand. There was obviously a fairly scientific exercise using people from ETH as well as from MRSS India. We have internally what we call a measurement science team. So whatever product comes out of a company, it is methodologically absolutely sound. And for this particular project, I think all of us, I think the three owners of the company were also involved in figuring out the method. So essentially, we began by identifying corporate brands which advertised a lot. Okay, and we made a list of 320 corporate brands. Once we did that, we figured that we will go to two segments of people. One segment was stakeholders. Okay, so there was a separate project among stakeholders. There was another project among regular consumers. And they were regular people, SEC, AB, 18 to 45, stuff like that. And we decided to do the study in 16 towns across 4 regions of the country. Now, what's so special about the survey we've done? I think just 3 points, because many of these surveys can be done in different ways. What we thought is we don't want to have it overly simplistic. So we had 7 parameters, things like awareness, familiarity, likability, brand recommendation, innovation, etc. So we made sure that we cover the entire range of attributes which matter. So that was number one. Number two, a common problem in market research, for those of you who might be familiar, is that there's too much load on the person actually evaluating the whole thing. So we used something called the balanced incomplete block design, which ensured that there was not so much of a load on the respondents who actually did the survey, and at the same time, it was methodologically very powerful. Okay, so that's number two. And the third is the entire survey was done on the phone. Advantage, it's quick, it's error-proof, and you can actually prove that you did it. The minute you geotag, you know your respondent has actually been visited, you know how long the interview is, etc. So that's pretty much it. I think we've got a couple of events happening before the actual awards are announced, but enjoy yourself. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and with that, we're now about to march ahead to our next special segment. In fact, this evening, as we had mentioned, this is the evening where we're going to be recognizing and lauding all of the top corporate brands. In fact, these are the brands that have been chosen as one of the top brands on the basis of the consumer and stakeholder validated research. So this evening, before we march ahead with the felicitation, we will be actually taking the opportunity in terms of unveiling the coffee table book that actually features all of these top corporate brands. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the presence of the doyen of the advertising industry, Mr. Prahlad Kakkar. We also have the presence of the fabulous film actor, Mr. Aftab Shivdasani. So I'd like to invite both of you on the stage to please come forward. And may I also invite Mr. Vineet Bagadia to please come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, and with that, let's march ahead. And I'm going to request our dignitaries to please unveil the coffee table book. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we unveil to you the cover of the coffee table book. It features the top best corporate brands for 2016. Thank you very much. But I'm going to request you again to please remain on the stage as we now march ahead with the round of felicitations. So let's get the felicitation process started. This evening, we're all set to felicitate our first top brand, State Bank of India, the leading corporate brand in the overall category. So let's move ahead and felicitate the leading corporate brands of the various categories. Let's get started with Air India in the airlines category. Let's have a huge round of applause for our national carrier, Air India. Moving on, Time to felicitate our next top corporate brand, which is Lenovo in the information technology space. Well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, the next brand to be felicitated this evening is Reliance Capital Limited in the finance segment. Well, the next brand to be felicitated, ladies and gentlemen, Tata Motors Limited in the auto segment. Next leading corporate brand to be felicitated is Vodafone in the telecom segment.
I feel that to be a great brand, you have to listen to your customers. You have to understand their needs first, rather than we getting a product for them and taking it to them and trying to force it on them. We should understand what are their needs, what do they want, and then try and build up a product as per their needs. So a time has come when because in this digitalized world, when customers are so much connected to each other, they can talk about the products, what they have purchased from you. So that kind of combination as per his needs is what we need to make for them.
A great corporate brand is brand love plus a whole lot of seriousness, a lot of gravitas. Because you want the gravitas of a Voltas or many of the brands, Future Retail or whatever. So there's a big difference. You want that brand love, but you want that assurance that this is rock solid.
That it's also time to felicitate the best corporate brands for 2016 across all the categories in the alphabetical order. So let's keep that applause going and let's hear it for Arihant Superstructures. Well, moving on to our next best corporate brand, let's have a round of applause for Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. And moving on to the next round of felicitation, let's keep the applause going for Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. Moving on to our next best corporate brand, ladies and gentlemen, Blue Star. Well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to felicitate our next best corporate brand. Let's hear it for Dish TV. The next best corporate brand for 2016, Eureka Forbes. Kudos to the team. And Let's keep that enthusiasm on and let's hear it for DHFL. So moving on to our next best corporate brand, Federal Bank. The next best corporate brand for 2016, ladies and gentlemen, Future Retail. Well, moving on to the next round of felicitation, can we have a round of applause for Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited, Amul. Our next best corporate brand, ladies and gentlemen, Godrej Appliances. And moving on, let's have a huge round of applause for our next best corporate brand, HCL Technologies. Keep those smiles really wide and the applause really loud. Let's hear it for Madhura Fashion and Lifestyle. Now let's relax ourselves because our next best corporate brand is Relaxo Footwears. Let's have a huge round of cheer for Relaxo Footwears. Moving on to our next best corporate brand, ladies and gentlemen, Reliance Life Insurance. Moving on to our next brand, ladies and gentlemen, the next round of felicitation. Let's have a round of applause for RPG Enterprise. And the next brand to be chosen as one of the top brands, ladies and gentlemen, Rupa and Company. Ladies and gentlemen, time for our next round of felicitation. Let's have a round of applause for SBI Life Insurance. And the next brand to be chosen as one of the top brands, ladies and gentlemen, Societe Generale India. Ladies and gentlemen, the next best corporate brand for 2016, Voltas. And well, yes, the next brand to be chosen as one of the top brands is Yes Bank. While we do come to the end of the felicitations, let's have a huge round of applause for all of our top leading brands as well.
We are a 72-year-old brand, and we have to keep on reinventing ourselves, number one. Number two, we are an Indian brand in a completely multinational dominated environment, and therefore how you will reinvent yourself in the context of the brand, which means you should do the entire value chain, the product that you offer or the customer experience. You have to make it relevant all the time. So we are happy that we are one of the brands selected by Economic Times.
Well, Lenovo is a great corporate brand because customers trust us. We've grown every single year better than the market, and we continue to expand our portfolio into several other categories while the world is actually moving out of these categories. So that gives us the confidence that we are a good corporate brand.
I think as any company, I think to be able to build a great brand, you have to focus on your customers, and customer service has to be critical. And not only that, you have to have new unique products that service the customer, and as well as have a great employee team of people who are going to service those customers, so that you always need to motivate them, and they must also feel empathy towards the customer. So ultimately it's all around the customer, and brands only built around being able to service your customer, acquire good customers, service them, and look after them. And obviously your employees have to support you in that. The environment has support you, but also you have to have good products for them. So as a company, we are delighted that Reliance Capital has won this award, and we continue to look forward to many such awards in the future.
A great corporate brand is one, in my opinion, which ranks very high on familiarity, favorability, reputation. It also makes great investment proposition. From our standpoint, RPG's market cap has grown 5 times in the last 3 years. That's one reason. We have touched lives. We've actually gone and done a lot of work on the social side, which gives reason to believe that we are a great corporate brand. From an employer brand standpoint, we've been able to attract some of the finest talent in the market. People have come in from the finest companies and join our companies. So that's another reason why I believe that RPG is a great corporate brand.
I am really honored that the Economic Times and the Times Group have chosen Société Générale to give us this award. I would like to dedicate this award to our employees and also, of course, to our clients. You know that within Société Générale we put a lot of emphasis on our value, the value of the group, which are responsibility, commitment, team spirit, innovation, looking always at the client being at the center of everything, at the center of our thoughts, of our actions.
We at Yes Bank are extremely delighted with this recognition, which is possibly the most important in our life cycle of now almost 12 years. To be a part of ET Corporate Brands as one of the best financial brands in India is a matter of considerable pride for all Yes Bankers, for the management naturally, and for our board of directors and all stakeholders.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, while we do come to the end of the felicitations, it's not over until it's over, because we have the presence of the doyen of the advertising industry, founder of the Genesis Film Productions, which is considered to be one of the most highly regarded advertisement filmmaking agencies in India. We have often heard that to tell a story in 30 seconds is in the most engaging way is the main task indeed. And here is somebody who has actually created some of the most iconic brands for the country. Magic for some, delight for others, and inspiration for many. So can we have a huge round of applause? And please help me welcome once again back on stage our very own Mr. Prahlad Kakar.
Hopefulness is a very important part of building brands. And I believe, in terms of the analogy, that most women who have mothers know more about brand building than any B school actually in this country or probably in the world. You see, everybody thinks that building a brand is rocket scientistry. Building a brand is bringing up a child. Nothing less, nothing more. And if you understand that, then we'll be hands-on fathers. Which is why women build more brands than men do. The name is the first stage of brand building. Because when you have a brand, when you make a brand or when you create a brand, you're just as proud of the brand as your child, because it is your child. And the first thing is that you name the brand. So you pick a name that has a whole lot of value which it actually promises you. That is your first stage. And then you spend the rest of your life trying to inculcate those values into that child who's growing up so that he can actually deliver. The brand has to promise a value, and then you have to engineer it so that it actually delivers more than the value that it promises. So unless you nurture your brands on a passionate, irrational, emotional coefficient, you can never build a brand which is larger than life. We, in this country, have yet not discovered our entrepreneurial spirit. We call ourselves entrepreneurs. We are basically traders. We are highly risk averse. What is the business of business? Just understand this. The business of business is risk. If you cannot handle the risk as a thrill, as a part of your DNA, as becoming an adrenaline junkie, then you shouldn't be in business. So what is it that makes you risk averse? What is it that makes you scared of risk? It's fear. Not of the risk. It's fear of fear. So how do you deal with fear? Is there one management company or one management college in this country that understands that you have to go beyond fear to be a businessman? Because then you can enjoy risk, because it gives you a adrenaline high and you become a junkie. So you jump out of planes, you go scuba diving, you do all kinds of things because you risk your life. You know, if I have been trained to risk my life and enjoy it, then what's money? Then we'll get true entrepreneurs. Then we'll get international brands. So there's a poem that I'll want to end with. And the poem was actually the motto of a company that I helped start. And it said, "Come to the edge," we said. And everybody said, "No, it's too high." It says, "Come to the edge," we said, very seductively. And they said, "No, we'll fall." "Come to the edge," we said. And very reluctantly they came. And we pushed. And they flew. So that's what business is all about. That's what brand building is all about. So just remember, you have to go beyond fear. Thank you.
With that, we do come to the end of this fabulous evening. Thank you so much for being part of it. And once again, let's have a round of cheer for all of our top best brands as well as you, the audience, our wonderful speakers. Have a great evening. This is Kavya signing off. Thank you so much.